Scorching Dubai sun beat down on the pristine training ground as Cristiano Ronaldo adjusted his Al Nassr jersey for what felt like the thousandth time that morning. At 40, the Portuguese legend still carried himself with the same swagger that had terrorized defenders across Europe for 2 decades. His phone buzzed with a message that made his eyes narrow with intrigue. "Fancy a real challenge, old man?" The text was from Mohamed Salah, accompanied by a location pin for a private pitch in the heart of the Emirates. Ronaldo's lips curved into that familiar smirk. Even after all these years, after all the trophies and records, the fire still burned bright. The Egyptian king wanted to dance? Fine, let's dance. 3 hours later, Ronaldo found himself face to face with Salah under the floodlights of an exclusive training facility. The Liverpool star looked as sharp as ever, his famous left foot already itching for action. Both men were past their absolute prime, but their competitive spirits remained undiminished. "You know," Salah said in his accented English, stretching his hamstrings, "I've been thinking about that Champions League final in 2018. Real Madrid, remember? You guys took it from us." Ronaldo chuckled, pulling off his warm-up jacket. "I remember you crying on the pitch. Ramos did you dirty that night, eh?" "Ancient history," Salah replied, but his eyes had that dangerous glint. "Tonight, it's just you and me. No teammates, no coaches, no excuses." The challenge was simple, a series of one-on-one encounters, skills competitions, and finishing drills. Winner takes all, and by all, they meant bragging rights that would echo through social media for months. The facility owner, a wealthy football enthusiast, had agreed to host this impromptu showdown after both legends had reached out through mutual connections. "First challenge," Ronaldo announced, pointing to a row of cones arranged in a complex pattern. "Speed and agility. Loser buys dinner at the Burj Al Arab." Salah laughed. "You're on, CR7, but when I win, you're also posting on Instagram that the Egyptian king is faster than the Portuguese prince." "Prince?" Ronaldo raised an eyebrow. "I'm the bloody emperor, mate." The banter was just beginning. They lined up at the starting cone, both men crouched low despite their veteran status. The timer started, and both legends exploded forward with surprising pace. Ronaldo's technique was textbook perfect, sharp cuts, minimal contact with the cones, his famous athleticism still evident despite his age. But Salah was poetry in motion. His low center of gravity and those deceptive changes of direction that had bamboozled Premier League defenders for years were on full display. He weaved through the course like liquid mercury, his feet barely seeming to touch the ground. They finished within milliseconds of each other, both breathing hard but grinning widely. "Dead heat," panted Salah. "Bullshit," Ronaldo shot back, checking his GPS watch. "I had you by at least a tenth, in your dreams, old man." The next challenge was pure technique, hitting targets from various angles and distances. They set up 6 goals at different positions around the penalty area, each marked with a colored cone. The task was to hit each target in sequence, with points awarded for accuracy and style. Ronaldo went first, his preparation ritual as meticulous as ever. The trademark stance, the deep breath, the moment of absolute focus. His first shot was perfection, a curling effort that kissed the inside of the post before nestling in the corner. "Show off," Salah muttered, but there was respect in his voice. 5 more shots followed, each finding its mark with clinical precision. Ronaldo's technique was still devastatingly effective, his body seeming to remember every muscle memory from thousands of training sessions. "Your turn, Pharaoh," Ronaldo said with a theatrical bow. Salah stepped up with his own ritual, a quick prayer, a kiss to his wrist tattoo, and that characteristic left-footed stance. His first shot was pure class, a driven effort that bulged the net with authority. The Egyptian's finishing had always been about precision over power, and age hadn't diminished his ability to find the corners. Shot after shot found their mark, each one seemingly effortless. Salah's left foot was still a magic wand, capable of conjuring goals from the most unlikely angles. His final effort was a thing of beauty, a delicate chip that floated over an imaginary goalkeeper before dropping just under the crossbar. "Not bad for someone who's supposedly finished," Salah said, wiping sweat from his brow. "Who said you were finished?" Ronaldo grinned. "I said you were second best." As the evening wore on, the competition became more elaborate. They moved to freestyle tricks, each trying to outdo the other with increasingly audacious skills. Ronaldo busted out some of his classic stepovers, the moves that had made him famous as a young winger at Manchester United. His feet moved in a blur, the ball seeming to dance on invisible strings. Salah responded with his own repertoire: nutmegs, rainbow flicks, and those devastating feints that had left countless defenders grasping at air. The Egyptian style was different from Ronaldo's, more subtle, more about deception than a raw flair. "You know what I miss most?" Salah said during a brief water break. "The big games, the pressure, the feeling that the whole world is watching." Ronaldo nodded, understanding completely. El Clasico, Manchester United versus Liverpool. The Champions League nights when the stadium is shaking. "I've got an idea," Ronaldo said suddenly, his eyes lighting up with mischief. "One final challenge. Winner takes all. But this time, we make it interesting." He pulled out his phone and started typing rapidly. Within minutes, he posted a cryptic message on his Instagram story: "Something special happening tonight. Dubai. Stay tuned." Salah caught on immediately and did the same. Soon, both their social media accounts were buzzing with speculation from fans around the world. "A penalty shootout," Ronaldo proposed. "Best of 10. But here's the twist: we live stream it. Let the world watch till legends settle this once and for all." Salah's eyes widened. "You're crazy, you know that." "Crazy enough to make this the most watched football content of the year," Ronaldo replied with a wink. Within 30 minutes, they had set up a professional-grade streaming setup. The facility owner, sensing the marketing opportunity of a lifetime, had called in favors to get proper cameras and lighting installed. Both players' management teams were frantically trying to understand what was happening, but the legends were already committed. The stream went live at p.m. Dubai time. Within minutes, hundreds of thousands of viewers had tuned in from around the world. The comment section was exploding with messages in dozens of languages: Arabic, Portuguese, English, Spanish, and more. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ronaldo addressed the camera with his trademark confidence, "tonight you witness history. The GOAT versus the Egyptian king. Live from Dubai." Salah stepped into frame, grinning. The student is about to school the master. The banter between them was electric, and the viewer count kept climbing. The penalty shootout began with Ronaldo taking the first spot kick. The Portuguese legend had scored over 150 penalties in his career, and his technique was virtually flawless. He placed the ball with ceremonial precision, stepped back, and went through his routine. The shot was perfection, low, hard, and unstoppable. Salah, playing goalkeeper, had no chance. 1-0 to the king, Ronaldo announced to the camera. Salah's turn. The Egyptian had his own penalty expertise, having converted crucial spot kicks for Liverpool in pressure situations. His approach was different, less theatrical, more focused. He sent his shot the opposite way, equally unstoppable. 1-1, old man, Salah replied with a smile. The pattern continued for the first 8 penalties, both men converting with mechanical precision. The tension was building, both in the facility and among the millions now watching worldwide. At 4-4, something shifted. The weight of the moment, the eyes of the world, the competitive fire that had driven both men to the pinnacle of football, it all converged. This wasn't just a friendly kickabout anymore. This was legacy on the line. Ronaldo's 5th penalty was different. Instead of his usual power, he opted for placement, a delicate chip down the middle that barely crossed the line. Salah had guessed correctly, but couldn't quite reach the ball. "Panenka," Ronaldo shouted, pumping his fist. The audacity. The live chat went absolutely wild. Fans were typing in all caps, sharing the stream, and creating memes in real time. This was becoming a genuine internet phenomenon. Salah stepped up for his crucial 5th penalty. The pressure was immense, but he'd been here before: Champions League finals, World Cup qualifiers, Premier League title deciders. He knew how to handle the moment. Salah's technique was flawless. He picked his spot and buried the penalty with authority. 5-5, and the shootout would go to sudden death. The tension was now unbearable, even for 2 veterans who had experienced everything football could throw at them. "This is mental," Salah said, shaking his head, but still grinning. "My wife is going to kill me for staying out this late." "Mine too," Ronaldo laughed. "But some things are worth the couch tonight." The 6th round began with Salah taking his turn. He'd been analyzing Ronaldo's goalkeeping throughout the shootout, looking for patterns, weaknesses. The Egyptian sent his shot to the bottom right corner with conviction. Goal. 6-5 to Salah. Now it was Ronaldo's turn. Miss, and the Egyptian king would have the ultimate bragging rights. The Portuguese legend had been in this situation countless times, but never quite like this, never with millions watching on a live stream, never at 40 years old, never with everything riding on pure ego and pride. Ronaldo placed the ball with extra care. The facility had gone dead silent except for the hum of the floodlights and the distant sound of Dubai traffic. He looked up at the goal, then at Salah, then back at the ball. No pressure, Salah called out with a grin, crouching in the goal line. Ronaldo's run-up was perfect. The connection was clean, but Salah had read it perfectly, diving to his left. He got a strong hand to the ball and pushed it wide. The Egyptian leaped up, screaming with joy. Yes, yes, the king is dead. Long live the king. Ronaldo stood frozen for a moment, then broke into laughter. You jammy bastard. You actually did it. The two legends embraced in the center of the pitch, both laughing like school children. The competitive fire had been satisfied, and now pure joy remained. The live stream chat was an absolute chaos. Viewers were sharing clips, creating reaction videos, and debating the shootout frame by frame. Sports journalists around the world were already writing articles about the spontaneous showdown. This was the kind of content that would be talked about for years. So what now? Salah asked, still breathing hard from the excitement. Now, Ronaldo said, pulling out his phone, we go get that dinner at the Burj Al Arab. And you're buying, as agreed. Worth every dirham, Salah replied. But next time, we do this in Liverpool. Anfield. See how you handle the atmosphere there. Deal? Ronaldo nodded. But I'm picking the challenges. They signed off the stream together, thanking the millions of viewers who had made this impromptu event a global phenomenon. The two legends had reminded the world why they were special, not just for their skill, but for their ability to create magic wherever they went. As they walked off the pitch together, Ronaldo turned to Salah with a thoughtful expression. You know what this was really about? What? Proving to ourselves that we've still got it. That age is just a number. That the fire still burns. Salah nodded, understanding completely. The day we stop competing is the day we stop being who we are. Exactly. And tonight proved we're nowhere near that day. They reached the parking area where their respective cars were waiting. The night air was still warm, and Dubai's skyline twinkled in the distance. Same time next month, Salah asked with a mischievous grin. You're on, Ronaldo replied. But next time, I'm bringing Benzema, then I'm bringing man. They laughed and went their separate ways, but both men knew this wouldn't be the last time. The competitive spirit that had driven them to the top of world football was still very much alive, and moments like these were what made all the training, all the sacrifice, all the pressure worth it. The next morning, sports media around the world led with the story of the Dubai showdown. Hashtag Ronaldo Salah trended globally for 3 days straight. Videos of the penalty shootout were watched hundreds of millions of times across all platforms. But for Cristiano Ronaldo and Mohamed Salah, the real victory wasn't in the viral content or the global attention. It was in the reminder that football, at its core, was about joy, competition, and the eternal quest to prove who was the best. And in Dubai, under the floodlights of a private training facility, two legends had reminded the world and themselves that some flames never die. The game continues.